Hey everyone, my name is Anthony. Welcome to Metals and Momentum. This is a podcast that's going to support my Substack. So I joined Substack a little while ago because I wanted to send emails out to my friends and family that are very into investing. So I'll pull it up on the screen here so you could see Metals and Momentum. Here is the homepage. Let me go to the actual profile here. So this is the Substack here. You could find me on there. I have a free tier. I also have a paid tier, $9 a month if you want to subscribe on Substack, and you're going to get full access to my newsletter. The first newsletter is going out on August 2nd. On Substack. I have it scheduled here and it's going to go out. So it'll be essentially this morning. You'll have it in your inbox if you're a subscriber on Substack there. I'll link it down in the description down below. So the things that we're going to go over here on YouTube are going to be the trade and investment recap. I have a portion of my my newsletter called the Value Vein, and then I'm going to go through a weekly watch list, and this is designed to just set traders up or investors up for the coming 2 weeks. And then you're going to get another newsletter on a bi-weekly basis, so you'll have the watch list to kind of go through, and then you can trade throughout the week, do whatever you're kind of into throughout the 2 weeks, and then I'll hit you up with another newsletter. If this starts to go really well, I might change that to a weekly newsletter, but we'll see how it goes. We're just starting it up here, and this is the first newsletter that we're actually going to go through. So I'll give you an idea of what's in the newsletter real quickly. I'll just give you some investment thoughts. Today we're going to go over the trade recap, the value vein, the watch list. But that being said, let's get into it. So what is on the watch list? Let's go over the trade recap here to get started. So what did we do this week? Basically, we got faked out of a trade on GDXJ. It's a little bit unfortunate, but I'll break this trade down for you. So yesterday, Friday, that announcement of the new tariffs kind of faked us out of this gold trade here. Basically, we saw on GDXJ, we saw this breakout happen on the gold chart, and these charts are also available in the newsletter as well. But basically, we saw this breakout happen on GDXJ here. So basically, we saw the confirmation, or this is this candle here. There's the downward support line, and I essentially bought into GDXJ thinking that we were going higher. Then the following days, we break down back into this wedge pattern. So this is the fake out coming back into the wedge pattern. We even broke the support line here. Then I was like, all right, we got to sell. And we sold out of the trade. And then this turned into a fake out here. And now we are back into the wedge pattern. This whole confusion with Trump and all the tariffs is really, really bouncing things around. And I was looking at even the gold chart here. So we saw the breakdown in gold signaling lower lows to come in gold. And then we saw this announcement on Friday, which is yesterday, that Trump announced these tariffs. And here we are bouncing back into this support, this kind of upward wedge. And we'll see how things play out over the next 2 weeks. So that's what kind of happened over the last 2 weeks. I essentially lost a few dollars on GDXJ. It wasn't a huge position. I was thinking that, we might break out a little bit here and then maybe kind of trail off to this support line. But I want to make sure that if we really pop, then I'll take a small position in GDXJ. My portfolio right now is up 25% on the year. So I had some room to kind of play around with a little bit. So we're doing pretty well. It's not a huge deal. We'll get back into GDXJ maybe in the coming 2 weeks, but we'll see if it can break basically up out of this wedge pattern. Then that would be fantastic. A move upward here and then a break above this. This is now essentially acting as a ceiling, this support line here, and a break out of the wedge pattern and above this ceiling. That would be super bullish for gold, and it would probably signal a move upward out of this above this ceiling as well. So that's what I'm looking for, or looking at over the next 2 weeks, but there's a few other things that we'll get into in a moment as well. I want to hop directly over to the newsletter and basically go through a section that I call the value vein in the newsletter. So whether you're a paid subscriber on Substack, whether you're paying for the subscription on Substack, $9 a month, then you're going to get access to this section. This is called the value vein. So basically it's just a small little piece that we can learn from and basically break down a trading pattern or something to do with investing. And it's all about learning in a very, very short period of time. So you can kind of read what's going on the newsletter there. But basically we're talking about a bull flag. And this will be really key to learn this and then look at the charts that we're about to look at. We'll go through that in a minute. So the bull flag is really key because you have this first impulse wave and then you have the flag forming in like a downward kind of trend, just like maybe bouncing up, down in this little channel that you see forming the flag. So the key with the bull flag is buying essentially the breakout or shorting on the breakdown if that's what it's going to do. But basically, we have the first impulse wave, then we have the flag forming, then the breakout, and this is where I tend to buy and hoping for the next impulsive wave. So that is a bull flag. I love this pattern because it's very easily identifiable. You could see that there's like an upward movement, then there's the downward movement and kind of maybe bouncing around in this little channel, and then there's the breakout, and that's how you start to trade a bull flag. Now, you're going to see this in the weekly watch list, and that's what we're going to get into now. So in the newsletter, I've posted a number of different stocks that I'm watching, and one of the key sectors that I've been paying attention to is uranium. Now, these stocks have just gone on an absolute tear recently, and I'm waiting for that pullback and then potentially a retrace to the scene of the crime, and that's kind of what we were looking at here. So we have this big channel kind of floating upward over, really this is since like the beginning of the year. Now we're getting that huge pullback and back into the channel here. This is on DNN. This is one of the uranium stocks that I was watching. I saw this breakout. I'm hoping that it pulls back. It starts to pull back here into the channel. I'm hoping it taps this support line or retraces to the scene of the crime. This is the part where it essentially broke out to begin with, right? This huge upward movement, breakout, and now we're seeing the pullback. I want to see it retrace to the scene of the crime, touch this point. I want to make a purchase right around here, and then hopefully we can ride this upward. This breakout of this downward trend line, this is really bullish because this was a ceiling. Now it's becoming a floor if we come back down and tap that downward trend line that I'm highlighting in red right here. So that's really, really key. This is one of the stocks that I'm looking at. The whole uranium sector as a whole is just really interesting because we've seen a huge movement, and now you can see breakout over this downward trend line. That was resistance. Now it's becoming support. We even see it like kind of bounce, breakout, bounce back here. Now we see the upward movement, and then it came back down, tapped it a third time. That really confirms that this downward trend line is acting as support, and we can see that it's just bouncing. And of course, today on the Trump announcements, that we're getting a pretty significant pullback. And what's really interesting about this particular chart is the 50-day moving average is now crossing that 200-day moving average. Now this acts as some really, really serious support. And when the 50-day crosses the 200-day, then that is signaling a really, really nice bullish uptrend. And we can start to make trades based off of this as some serious support. And this is all aligning with the chart. So we got the new floor that we've established, basically this downward trend line. line here acting as support, and it's now coming into the 200-day and the 50-day. The 50-day is crossing that 200-day. Now this is some really, really serious support. We should see a bounce in the next coming trading days. That'll be next week here. So that's one of the stocks that I'm looking at. This is URNJ. The other uranium stock that I'm super interested in, basically the same thing is happening here. The 50-day is crossing the 200-day, and we have this this point where it's just trading in this channel. We saw the big breakout. It's coming back down into this channel here, and we're seeing the exact same thing kind of play out as well. So this will be something that you can kind of maybe diversify and purchase a few shares of each, and then see how this kind of plays out over the coming 2 weeks. Now the premium subscribers on Substack, they're going to get trade notifications from me. If I take this trade, then they'll get notified. If I sell the trade, then they will also get notified. And that's one of the big benefits to becoming a paid subscriber on Substack, $9 a month if you want to do that. So that is the weekly watch list. Let me jump over to just the final thoughts of the newsletter, and we'll kind of go through just a few things to just wrap up. The last stock that I actually didn't pull up is NAT. Let me pull this up because this was one of the reasons why I'm up so significantly this year is because of this stock on its own. And we can see the bull flag kind of play out. So we see this upward movement. There's the bull flag, right? And it kind of broke into like this downward trend line, or like kind of key support line. The bull flag was formed. Now we're seeing it kind of play out, and we're about to see the same thing happen like on the uranium stocks. The 50-day is about to cross the 200-day moving average, and that is one of the reasons why I'm up so significantly this year, is because I bought a lot of this stock right near the bottom. And we'll maybe go over this in a newsletter, but this is a stock that they send out notifications when key shareholders are buying. And one of the largest shareholders of NAT sent out notifications that they were buying like $250,000 worth of shares over the span of like a week. And then we saw the stock hit a low, I think it was like of 216, 217, 218, somewhere around this section, this kind of area of the chart. Then there was one last huge purchase from the largest shareholder of NAT, and that sent the stock up pretty much from there. You saw a number of different buyers come in, not just the largest shareholders, but the market kind of figured this out. And then we've seen a 28% rise in NAT from the low right here. So that was pretty good. I managed to catch that trade there. That was excellent. So if we can hop over to the newsletter here, I'm going to scroll down, make sure that we don't show anything that is part of the paid program here, just going over the final thoughts. So like I said, I'm currently sitting on a portfolio that's up 24% this year. And believe me, I thought about just sitting in SGov, which is essentially like a short-term treasury bond where it's like 0 to 3 month treasury bonds. It pays like 4.6%. And I thought about just sitting there for the rest of the year because I've had some pretty good performance over this last year. But this isn't really me, right? Like, I like to make moves. I like to learn. I like to grow. And this is some of the things that I'm thinking about for the newsletter. And this is the big benefit for subscribers on the newsletter. I was a very broke kid. And then my first investment was actually in physical silver. And if we look at a physical silver chart, I may as well just pull this up. So I go to silvergoldbull.ca and I'm looking for /charts. And this is the performance of silver since essentially like 2016, 2018. That's really when I got pretty serious into investments. And we can see the performance of silver is just amazing. I remember buying physical silver at like $18. And we've seen an incredible run, especially in the Canadian dollar. Now, a lot of investors are working out of the United States, but I kind of pay attention to both because I am a Canadian and most of my subscribers on Substack are going to be Canadian. But this performance here was the first time that I really experienced like real wealth. Having physical silver was one of the best investments that I ever made. And that was a game changer for me. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing the newsletter. I want to inform my family, I want to inform my friends of what I'm doing with my money. And if you want to follow along, then you could definitely do so. Follow me on Substack. Whether you go that free route or the paid tier, you're going to get access to the newsletter with a whole bunch of investment thoughts, and that's where I am going to be on a bi-weekly basis. So if you enjoyed this episode on YouTube here, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is Metals and Momentum. My name's Anthony. Let's chat soon. We'll see you in the next one.